So yeah, we save Bart Simpson, but he's still usually speaking in a Gerberish way. Or to be more specifically, like an alien voice or something like that, according to what the actual thing itself says. So, hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen? It is I, the one and only Ray the Flying Squirrel here, and I am Mighty the Armadillo here, and I'm Pac-Man here, and we are back for yet again for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos, as always. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more Let's Play of The Simpsons Hit and Run for the Nintendo GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox, and PC. So, last time, we have basically 100% everything now in terms of level 3, despite the fact that usually Mighty the Armadillo has a bit of a worst luck ever during the course of the forms of, well, Friday the 13th day kind of syndrome or something like that, which we already know this by this point. And also that he did manage to win through probably is the hardest checkpoint race in the whole entire game, just because of the forms of, well, everything else, ranging from very tight corners you have to drift around on, and pretty much as to be expected. So today, for this video, we're going to be hitting on to the forms of the next level in the game, which appears to be level 4. Now, this particular environment does look familiar to you, doesn't it? Well, that's only mainly because, actually, before I get into more details about that, I do apologize for that particular background noise you'll be hearing. I'm guessing it's mainly because that, I believe Tails somehow accidentally managed to knock over the dog food. So, just in case we can able to feed our dogs and all that jazz, because they're so adorable looking. Yeah, I know that, and thus they are very hungry as well, so... Yeah, anyway though, so today for this video, like we were saying before Pac-Man, is the fact that today we're going to be hit on to level 4, and as you can tell, that it looks like we're about to take control of a different character this time. And also every once in a while though is the fact that yeah, we did manage to able to did this off screen, so as you can see we actually got some bit of coins here and there, like 1,387 so far. Although mind you though, we will repeat this process until if we get into the next level, so in this case though we'll go ahead and change into a different outfit for Marge, because yes, we are playing as Marge Simpson this time, so... Yeah, almost to the point about the fact that we pretty much almost play as every single The Simpsons family member. Well, the only time exception being Maggie Simpson, so just because, well, you probably know what I mean, so yeah, today's day is of course the 17th of May today. I almost said April for a second, because I keep thinking about the forms of the worst month we've ever went in. So in this case though, yeah, today's day is of course the 17th of May today. So in this case though, we're on 2022 still. So it looks like about the fact the matter is though, is the fact that we're almost getting pretty close to the halfway point in terms of 2022, yeah. So, well, apart from the fact that as soon as we meet into July, then it'll become pretty obvious about the fact that we're actually getting pretty close to that particular point. So... yeah, anyway though, so not much else to talk about, I'm afraid, apart from the fact that we actually stumbled across quite a few interesting news and announcements they've got. Although we'll talk more details about that later, because as you can tell, that this particular level right there, since we're onto the forms of Evergreen Terrace, that particular location is very familiar to you. Well, that's only mainly because, as you can tell, we ended up going back into technically like level 1, except with a different time of day. So as a result though, this is like level 1, except with the different selections of missions, and also every once in a while though is the fact that certain coin boxes are in the exact same locations. However, there's some significant differences this time around though, since that after all, that mind you, any forms within level 1, that we didn't actually explore every single pieces of the forms of the entirety of the forms of Evergreen Terrace. That's the only reason why, is because obviously we didn't actually explore around in Mr. Burns' mansion and all that jazz. So I believe that we might able to actually explore around on Mr. Burns' mansion for the first time actually. So in this case though, it will be very interesting if you would able to actually classify for doing this. So yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and save our game quickly, so just in case if our capture card does not get glitched out again, unlike the forms of how it does it on, you know, Friday the 13th kind of syndrome. So yeah, let's just quickly go ahead and pop into the Simpsons house quickly. And before we deal with more details about this discussion, let's talk to Bart to begin the first mission in level 4. But first off, level gag by turning on the TV. So yeah, let us begin, shall we? And, oh look, there's Grandpa! Yeah, just staring at the forms of that particular bowl for some particular reason. So, anyways, let's begin.
Bart, what's causing your ooga booga talk? My special little guy's noogle has turned to goo-goo. The whole town's gone nuts. Security cameras, mysterious vans, crop circles. There's got to be a connection. Maybe the police know something.
Okay, so the first mission we are about to be taking on is a few donuts more. Or a few donuts more. So, I do apologize for that particular gibberish speeching for this point today. That's only mainly because we're just a little bit too tired recently. Because, well, after all, that we couldn't actually have got enough sleep. Because, obviously, we now need to deal with the forms of the heat wave at this point. Well, it seems pretty obvious because, obviously, that we're almost getting close to summer. So, to be expected at this point, Pac-Man, to be expected. So, anyway, so basically we need to chase after that particular police car, and I believe it does manage to contain Chief Wagon, so yeah, that might be something worth noting for that particular familiar character, and we immediately meet up with him, so, and before we continue with all that stuff, actually let's do this next part.
Chief Wiggum, I need you to find out what happened to Bart. Could you show me where the crop circle is? There's got to be a clue to curing Bart.
Ah, that's cute. I'd love to help, but I got sugar withdrawal real bad. The donut store is closed, and I got a monkey on my back screaming for Crawler. Oh, he's screaming.
Alright, so the next point we need to do is the fact that we need to hit the donut truck, and basically we need to be able to obtain for about 10 of those donuts, so that might be the part of a plan, especially noticeable about the fact that we can usually just try to able to bash it really hard with any vehicle, so that way it'll drop the item just like always, so yeah, to be expected at this point, so yeah, you probably get the idea about that, obviously, until tomorrow, though, is the fact that we got ourselves the next tour coming up on Mario Kart Tour, which is unfortunately going to be another Team Rally, tours, because it's pretty obvious, because I'm not a big fan of those Team Rally, tours in terms of Mario Kart Tour and all that stuff. Like, for instance, that, we got ourselves Peach versus Bowser Tour, and for the sake of convenience, that is, I think we should probably be able to actually pick Team Bowser because of the forms of the actual coin box item hold, or anything else to be more specific, because it did manage to work last time, since that, well, despite the fact that we accidentally managed to able to choose the wrong team, which appears to be Team Donkey Kong, but it turns out about the fact that we lost because of the forms of that coin block item strat for, Team Bowser and stuff like that. So, yeah, at least I'm hoping that we're able to do that, though, because aside from the fact that, well, relatively speaking, that's all I can honestly try to say about it. So, anyway, so it looks like that, oh, Jesus Christ, that fan is in our way! Yeah, and to make matters worse, though, I think we're basically low on time, so, if I grab this last donut, then I can probably head back onto that particular the donut shop, but here's the thing, I don't have enough time, so thus I think you actually gone way, way further away from for that particular destination, so yeah, at least I did a quick turn there, so jeez, we got ourselves a hit and run, and oh Jesus Louise, it's gonna get a little bit tricky at this point, especially noticeable how you know what I mean, with all the later missions might actually start to get a lot difficult now. So, because relatively speaking though, it's just the fact that, that's as far as we can say, because as far as, progression goes, it starts to get a little bit more difficult, so. Even though I see the collectible card up there, but I think I should probably save that until for later, so, anyways, let's go ahead and, don't think we've got enough time for this, because somehow we got screwed by not only tons of tons of traffic, but also that's the actual the distance between the actual donut shop and all that stuff though. So yeah, I just failed. So, and thus you have to start all over again with this particular mission. So yeah, that's kind of a nuisance anyway, because as far as I can usually tell, that we ended up outside of the actual house. So yeah, I've no idea why you just cancel out that mission. Why is that? well, I was expecting if I was trying to able to do a jump cut to able to do a successful attempt, but I wasn't paying attention, so whoops. But that's okay though, because you can just simply just try as many times as you wanted to, despite the fact that, well, in the later missions might actually start to get a little bit more lengthy and difficult at the same time. Well, to be more specifically, if we get into the next level after this, then basically though we can able to actually expect that in the later missions might actually get a lot tougher at this point, so yeah, especially noticeable because, well, you might as well able to easily manage able to run into hit and run straight away, so we can pretty much expect how this is going. So anyway, so yeah, we were able to actually just try to figure this out in Dready Forms of Tomorrow's case for you know, Mario Kart Tour's next tour. So but at least we're still waiting for our, you know, DLC Wave 2 might be approaching for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC, but we'll have to wait and see what happens until at some point until next month, if possible. But either way, though, we're able to find out in Drain later on throughout the entirety of this month later on, so. And speaking of this month, though, is the fact that we actually get ourselves a news for the sake of the forms of the Nintendo 64 online membership services for its, you know, Nintendo Switch online services. That is the fact that the next game they'll add it in is none other than Kirby 64 The Crystal Shards. So as a result, though, that's, yeah, pretty cool to able to actually have that game during the forms of the Switch Online membership services. And as far as that game is going to be released on the Switch, it's going to be releasing this week. To be more specifically, this coming Friday. To be more specifically, the May 20th. So, yeah, pretty cool, huh? Especially noticeable, it's going to be coming out a week before My Little Pony and Maritime Bay Adventure, despite the fact that, well, relatively speaking, that we're not exactly sure how the performance is going to go, depending on what version you're going to be getting, either the Xbox Series X or Xbox One version, or PS4 version, or the Switch version, but we'll see what happens in later time. So, yeah, there we go. Now I actually got ourselves some more time here, so thus I did drive a lot more further away from that particular previous destination this time, so at the very least I can able to actually just try to able to complete this mission as much as I can. Yeah, so hopefully you will get ourselves in much more of a better experience all in all, in comparison to the forms of how it does it on the first attempt, so. And in fact, did I went to the wrong way? No, I don't think you haven't, because you somehow made it all the way over there. Okay, good. So that way, I will complete the first mission in level 4.
Boy, for a busybody housewife, you sure get results. That crop circle's at Cletus's shack. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a truck full of donuts to eat. I'm gonna need a lot of coffee.
Oh yeah, because I remember that one in particular scene. As soon as when Homer's trying to able to actually put something gross into that particular lake, you know, pollution and stuff like that. Because of that, though, that Chief Wagon just almost shot his face while he able to actually have a stack of donuts in his gun. Gee, that could be kind of dangerous, kind of thinking about it. But sure enough, though, it's quite hilarious what if I found out like loads of times since back in, well, as I say, back in when the film was first released. So, in fact, kind of thinking about it, though, it's the fact that until specifically the next 2 months, that I kind of believe about the fact that the Simpsons movie will be eventually become 15 years old during that time, which is crazy.
Willie, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I've got to sell my beloved tractor. My father's been thrown in the clink for football hooliganism, and I've no money for his bail.
Well, I certainly could use a tractor around the house for hauling away Homer's empties.
Alright, so from here we were able to get ourselves the tractor, and this actually cost about 400 coins. So hopefully I'm also able to try to grind as many of those coins as I possibly can for the likes of in level 4. But then again though, it's even if before we dive right into the next couple of levels until for later, then it's probably best to able to actually just to grind for more coins, just in case if there are some potentials for buying more vehicles as well as clothing, and especially noticeable certain required vehicles during later down the road. So yeah, you pretty much expect how this is going. So yeah, that seems something else. So yeah, about time to able to actually now have Kirby 64 The Crystal Shards on the Switch online membership services, especially that's relatively speaking, that's, well, not much else to talk about here. Especially noticeable because I think there's only one in particular N64 game left, and that's what appears to be by the forms of Pokemon Snap for the Nintendo Switch online membership services, because you were able to actually access for not only new Pokemon Snap, which I can't even believe that particular game has been out for about a year ago now, despite the fact that we no longer have that game anymore just because, well, required completionist, it takes a long time to complete. Especially noticeable because, unfortunately though, we no longer have that game anymore because, well, to be honest with you, I think I should probably just able to actually save you up for more games here and there, such as, for instance, that we've only just got about, you know what I mean, a month left until Mario Strikers Battle League Football will come out, and recently we just managed able to pre-order Klonoa Fantasy Reeve series recently, but the only version we've got to pre-order, and that's what appears to be the Switch version, so that way we can play those two amazing Klonoa's adventures on the go, so that way we don't need to worry about just trying to lock it onto the PlayStation 1. Well, we used to able to actually got the PS1 digital version on the PSP, but unfortunately though, because of the forms of the fact that we lost our account, so... But oh well, but at least we got ourselves a new and replacement version, so... Yeah, that pretty much expect how this is gonna turn out, so... And it's important to know we need to able to actually just go into the Springfield score in case if you're about able to missing out on, you know, more level gags here and there, like the fire alarm as well as the fire hydrant. And even especially noticeable with the forms of that specific clothing we can able to, well, access to, but I don't think we can able to interact with Principal Skinner on this because, well, I don't think there's any mission with him, for now anyway. So, I'll just purchase the Marge police outfit, which it does look pretty cool. And, of course, you can never forget the classy outfit, which does look pretty cool, huh? Yeah, especially noticeable how the way she looks. So, anyways, let's turn back into inmate outfits. So, just in case we can able to actually save those specific costumes for later to showcase. So, for now, let's head into mission number 2, which is the forms of Redneck Roundup. And... right off the bat, we instantly managed to transport there, so that's pretty quick.
Excuse me?
I don't care if you is from New York. You ain't taking pictures of our decrepitude for no magazine. No way.
No, Cletus, it's me, Marge. Marge.
Aye. So anyways, Redneck Roundup. So basically we need to follow Cletus and to collect what it falls from the truck. So I feel like this is where the fact that, oh yeah, we do able to actually get ourselves the tractor after all, so it's a good thing we did manage to able to buy the tractor to begin with. So yeah, basically this mission right here might be a bit tricky, mainly because of the forms of the status of the tractor plays out. Especially noticeable about the fact that despite the fact that we haven't paid attention to the actual status of the tractor vehicle itself, mainly because we didn't pay attention to it, because that's why we just instantly managed to buy it without even like looking up on the forms of some statuses and all that stuff. But basically in this mission right here, as always, we need to able to pick up some of these items along the way, and every once in a while though is the fact that one of those drivers just somehow managed to able to just drive around and all that jazz. Think of like a combination of the forms of trying to follow the vehicle as much as you want, and at the same time, trying to collect certain collectibles while the item is being dropped. So, but except the fact that you no longer try to able to deal the amount of damage to, well, you know what I mean with the actual vehicle damages and all that jazz, but despite the fact that I get the feeling that this mission might be a bit tricky, because, well, as far as I'm aware, that if you dare miss one of those items, and while at the same time, while the green gauge bar will able to actually deplete it, then obviously you'll lose entirely. So, yeah, that's what I've found out in terms of the forms of one of those hardest missions that most people seem to play this, on the PC version most likely, for its high performance, as well as, you know, no loading times in particular. So I can definitely see why, about the fact that in certain speedrunners, for the sake of the forms of this game in particular, they always tend to able to play the PC version rather than the GameCube, PlayStation 2, or Xbox versions for that matter, mainly because, well, I just get this feeling because of how the fact that maybe, just maybe, that, you know, the loading times has been reduced. So, at least that's what I was going to be thinking about it anyway, so... Alright, so... Obviously, we can still able to explore around in, a nuclear power plant here and there, so, yeah, but even then, though, I get the feeling that, you know what, the fact that we already explored through, you know, Evergreen Terrace from level 1 earlier ago? Well, turns out that certain, collector cards, or to be more specifically, collectible cards, and on top of all that stuff, though, with the level gags, well, some of them are in the exact same place, but some of them are in a different placements this time, so, and the only major differences between level 1 than the forms of how it does it on this level is that I'm pretty certain that certain wasp cameras are now in a different place. So, yeah, that's the perfect example of how that we actually going to be revisiting some of these familiar environments every once in a while. So, yeah, that basically explains that. Oh my god! Oh, jeez, okay. I'm probably not going to screw this up, because if I do screw up, then... obviously, I will have to able to scream like a yellow death, or the Pac-Man death sound, like kind of stuff. I have no idea why I say things like that, but anyways, let's just keep on, you know, drifting onto those specific things itself, and there we go. Oh, mission complete, and well, suffice to say, it actually took me a couple of tries. So I think you need to talk to Kletos again. But before I do that, there's a collector card as far as I see up there. So, we'll just go ahead and deal with that quickly. So, yeah, so, as far as for my, prediction, for the sake of the forms of when, Pokemon Snap on the Switch Online Membership Service is going to be able to be placed onto, that I'm pretty sure it's going to be on next month in June. So, just for the sake of convenience of the actual pattern, for, you know, monthly basis, for, certain Nintendo 64 games being released for the, you know, Nintendo Switch Online membership services, though. Maybe they're able to actually add in more games in the future, like I've heard about the forms of the GoldenEye 007 and stuff like that, or maybe the forms of Mario Party 1, 2, and 3, despite the fact that we already got Mario Party Superstars, so... you know, usually for the sake of the forms of certain boards, especially noticeable for most of those minigames have been remade from the ground up. So, yeah, that begs the question for it. And what about Banjo-Tooie, I wonder? Well, I suppose we should probably find out in the later portions to come. And heck, even with the forms of maybe Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, but then again though, it's still just about speculations at this point. But even then though, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day. What's your predictions in terms of the forms of some of these remaining Nintendo 64 games will be releasing for the Switch Online membership services? Well, mind you, we almost got every single games released by this point, but hopefully they'll add in some more in the future. But we just don't know when though, because, well, as far as I'm aware, we actually got ourselves a very lackluster, you know, Indie World presentation showcase, because, well, not every single games onto the Indie World recently doesn't interest us, because, well, it's just all abundance of shovelware. Like, I know for the fact that, well, originally, we were expecting that we will try to mention something related to Fall Guys during the forms of today, but, I think we should probably save that conversation until whenever we get to the, you know, the remainings of the collectibles that Pac-Man needs to get for level 4, and potentially speaking that, well, you know what I mean. So anyways, let's talk to Silas here.
You've got to help me. I have to find out what happened to my baby boy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you was a city slicker. But I ain't telling you nothing, less'n you help us with the harvest.
Harvest? If I'm going to be doing yard work, I better change, or my next mission will be to get mud stains out of green rayon.
Okay, so now we need to get into the vehicle again, and to take on Ketchup Logic. So basically, we need to collect as many of those ketchup packets within for the winter, and don't let the time runs out again. So, and looks like we're gonna have to collect about roughly 18 of these things. So, excuse me about this, because relatively speaking, I do apologize for that sniffy nose you're hearing in the background. That's only mainly because, well, I just sniff for some reason, which I know is not pleasing to able to hear all that. But we're still fine as it is. It's just the fact that Pac-Man has got himself his tingly nose at this point. So, yeah, you probably get the idea for this point, Ray. You definitely get the idea, so... So anyways though, aside from the forms of, you know, there's some stuff that we just mentioned, I think that's as far as we can say about it. Although we're still waiting for our, you know, hopes for the forms of the actual DVD release of, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but it was still speculating about the fact that maybe potentially it'll be released by the end of July, or in some cases though, at the beginning of August for certain times or anything else to be more specific. But we'll just see what happens there. So anyways, let's grab the reg and grab another ketchup just for the sake of the collectible kind of stuff. So yeah, everything else will be self-explanatory right here. Sometimes that this particular mission might be a bit tricky for some people, because relatively speaking, that certain collectibles like these ketchup packets right there, that they always place in with the forms of some odd placements. So, and it looks like that we're about to be able to drive into Mr. Burns' mansion. So, obviously a reference to something related to the Mansion family, which as a result though, I really enjoyed that episode, I must be honest here, because obviously that was part of my childhood, especially noticeable with how the fact I used to remember watching that episode on the VHS, and it never got me bored, especially noticeable because I just really loved the actual, the interactions with the forms of the inside of Mr. Burns' mansion and stuff like that. So, relatively speaking, that's all comes together. Oh, nice! Oh god, we got stuck! But you somehow managed to go back out, so now we just need to leave nuclear power plant if you've got enough time for doing so. So hopefully that might be seems the case. We will be back for that level gag onto that particular power plant until for later, so I just need to... Oh god! Oh yeah, every once in a while though is the fact that I'm sure that we actually technically did this, but we'll yeah, I think we already did this already ever since in level 2. So yeah, every once in a while there's going to be a lot of emphasis on getaway missions every once in a while for certain segments, so yeah, you get the idea about that. Oh yeah, I totally forgot you can able to actually just drive through here as a shortcut, so I did not realize that. Anyway, so let's just go ahead and drive a bit further away, so just in case we don't want to able to actually get caught by the forms of those criminal car drivers and all that jazz. But either way though, we basically got this, so...
Now about your query. My grandpappy done seed one of them corn drawings once, but he's with Allah now. You might and should ask some other old folks about it. Maybe try around the graveyard.
Thanks, Cletus.
'Twarn't nothing.
Alright, so there we go. So I believe we were able to actually just to move on to the next mission. And that, we need to now go into the cemetery. So, I'm pretty sure that's what the place is called, despite the fact that it has been about a couple of hours since we've last played this. So, let's see. Am I gonna buy something for this guy? Aside from, I'm also only buy one of the cars, like Kyoto. So, hopefully I'll try to grind as many of those coins as I can. So, hopefully I can able to actually get another vehicle. So let's go ahead and use that particular car. Even though I'm kind of thinking about it, I think it's like a reference to something related to one of those, you know, episodes from the likes of in Season 10. So as a result, though, that's when Marge is able to actually try out this new fancy car, like this car, for instance. And then basically, though, is the fact that she obviously keeps on getting a lot of road rages here and there. So either way, though, I think that's as far as we can remember. Along with the forms of the Rhino Stampede and stuff like that during the forms of the zoo place. So, anyway, so let's go up here, and it looks like there's no watch cameras to be found. Although, I can barely see shining onto that particular segment right there on the left, as you can see. Alright, that might be the collector card, huh? So we'll just run here, and obtain it as much as we can, the love letter. So, how's that for that? So, it's kind of weird that you can't able to actually run up slopes, because obviously that you will just be like, hovering around for a bit. So I can totally see why they just don't do this at all. But relatively speaking, I think we should probably expect that we'll try to reverse for a bit, and then yeah, that begs the question for it. Oh jeez, I keep on crashing all of a sudden. But at the very least, I'm thinking I'm also able to see another wasp camera somewhere. Let's just say over there, if roughly. Well, I see one over there. Yeah, because every once in a while, though, you will definitely need to grab some more of those coins before you know, buy some more stuff. I can see another one up there, too, so we need to do a lot of platforming with those caravans and all that jazz, so we can able to actually just you know, try to jump through that stuff. Again, I apologize for my sniffy nose earlier ago, and also I think there was actually another collector card in there, too. Yeah, so I think you was able to actually just to keep on moving forward for, you know, this particular part. And also every once in a while, though, is the fact that certain collectible cards might actually be kind of hard to reach every now and then, but it might not be too cryptic as far as this is concerned, so most of them are pretty easy to spot. So in this case, though, let's see what's in here. We got pepper spray. So I think this is actually based off from one of those items that Marge actually uses in the episode called The Springfield Connection or something. Like, basically, Marge wants to become a police cop, and then basically, despite the fact that we have not seen that episode yet, but hopefully we'll get around into it at some point, because we definitely heard some interesting things about it. So anyways, let's use this card to able to see how it handles. So if I've checked on the status of this car, it's actually okay. Like, obviously the handling is actually really good, but as far as everything else is concerned, they're pretty average. At least as far as what I noticed, the actual status, but either way though, I have no idea why I'm speaking things weirdly enough. I can see another wasp camera nearby, which appears to be on the exact same place, as we've somehow accidentally missed one for the sake of the forms of the first level after we'd done some massive research on it, so yeah, there were a few times though, is the fact that if we somehow managed able to try to find something, and then, you know, it's pretty obvious at this point, if we actually missing one last thing, and then basically that we will able to do a massive jump cut until we're able to do a massive research on stuff, so yeah, that pretty much explains it, especially noticeable because, well, relatively speaking, that, you know what I mean, we go for 100% completion after all, so, what do you expect? Alright, so let's just go ahead and, you know, let's just drive through here. So, although this is not the right place for me to go, but I get the feeling that I think I'm also trying to find myself some more level gags here and there. Like, for instance, that we could able to activate this. And also say applies onto the Homer's workroom. So if we pop over in there for a second, then obviously we will able to stumble across the exact same familiar level gag that we can possibly find. So yeah, I honestly have no idea where you're about to be going because you keep thinking of level 1, didn't you? Oh, right, exactly. And I have no idea what's up with that drift that you just pulled off, but at the very least you did manage to able to make your way for that longest distance with that particular ramp, so that's sure it's something, I suppose. Anyways, let's grab some more coins from here. Yeah, just in case until for later. It also say applies to the forms of that level gag as you approach onto it right now. Yep, mighty. And the fact that you will be seeing that particular dead body in there, so yeah, to be expected with most of the Simpsons humor and stuff like that. And we need to hit up here because I get the feeling there was actually another collector card that's somewhere. Well, actually, gotta think about it. It's actually a wasp camera, actually. I think this is potentially one of the hardest, okay. I honestly have no words what happened there. But, I wasn't near to him, and as a result, though, it actually counts me as, technically, like, hitting the wasp camera in a further away distance or something. That seems rather odd with that hit detection that you just pull off. I honestly have no words. Oh god, that is so weird. But anyway, let's see your progression so far. 46.9% done on level 4. So relatively speaking, I'm usually getting close towards the end of not only wasp cameras, but also level gags as well. Yeah, so yeah, potentially speaking, you are getting very close, so... I should also mention about this also is the fact that, relatively speaking, that, honestly, I got no words to think about it. Although, apart from the fact that, well, recently, we've managed able to pre-order not one, but 2 versions so far, for the sake of the forms of Sonic Origins recently. That will have to be by the forms of the PlayStation 4, as well as the Xbox One version. Sadly, no Switch version just yet though, but they will do later on, just like the forms of how it does it on, you know, Sonic Colors Ultimate, along with the forms of Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. So, relatively speaking, that they will save up the Sonic Origins, thing until for later, so... Alright, so it looks like we have another wasp camera here, so we will easily destroy that. But, if you think you're basically done here, well, it turns out that it looks like he stumbled across the switch. And that way, it will activate a different kind of scenery in here, but also, get this, another collectible card. Pretty easy to miss if you have a first time playing the game, especially noticeable you come across into Burns' portrait, as you can tell. So relatively speaking though, I have no issues for able to try to obtain that, as a matter of fact. So yeah, it does look pretty cool there. But let's not get ahead of ourselves at this point, because, you know, we're trying to able to actually find out the clues of how to able to restore, you know, Bart's speaking voice and all that stuff, because, you know, he speaks in an alien language and all that stuff though, but you know what I mean. Well, this place looks pretty cool though. Mind you, that's, relatively speaking, that first off, I need to, go ahead and grind for more coins onto that spot. And, if we manage to able to drive forward, and then, as you can tell, that we actually stumbled across a very cool segment, which appears to be the chessboard, filled to the brim with all these wasp cameras, as well as coins at the same time. So, yeah, it does look pretty cool though. Yeah, especially noticeable. Well, technically, we've already managed to drive from this spot from earlier ago. But, yeah, it's pretty cool to able to actually just to interact with the actual chessboard, despite the fact that you can't, you know, move the actual checkerboards, or to be more specifically, the chess parts, unlike, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone and stuff like that. So, and just play checkmate. So, yeah, I'm presuming that, 740 coins might be enough for me. So, at the very least, I'm now onto the halfway point in level 4 already. So, 51.2. And it looks like you only got about one more wasp camera left. I'm pretty sure I know exactly where that last wasp camera is. It's actually going to be somewhere in that familiar tower bed, as we've already discovered, ever since in level 1. So, but I'm afraid at this point in time, is the fact that since we are low on time, so in this case though, we're going to end things off at this point right here. So join us next time for more of Let's Play of The Simpsons Hit and Run. It's the fact that we are continuing things on in level 4, and able to do some more missions, as well as finding certain collectibles left, and hopefully that Pac-Man should able to finish up with level 4 during that time. So we'll see you guys until tomorrow. Later fellas, see you guys then.